Hey everyone, good to see you. Good to be seen. Um, I have a first week keto update for you, and I wanted to fill you in on some other things too. So, you may have seen me posting over the last week a lot about the new diet that I'm doing. I would more so consider it a lifestyle change. Um, I have been on a health and wellness journey for a long time, as a lot of you may know and have witnessed. And I have found something that I feel is sustainable, that is something I'm going to stick with, and I think is the answer to a lot of issues that I have not been able to take care of otherwise. And I've been doing this since 2016. In 2016, I had a friend um, I reconnected with who let me know about her son with autism and changes that she had made for her whole family. And ever since then, health and wellness has been a it has been the forefront of my life. It has been eating clean, living better, being as healthy as I possibly can has been of utmost importance to me. And I've ever since then I've been on this journey. I've experimented with being vegan, um, specifically plant based. I'm not talking about a lot of processed things. I did the real deal, and I was very weak. It was so hard to get all the nutrients I needed, vitamins I needed. It was it was very overwhelming and not sustainable. I've done a supplement company, and I do still use some of their products, but it wasn't the change that I needed. It wasn't the full, it just wasn't enough. I have tried exercising, I've tried pescatarian, I've cut out like breads and stuff like that before, but I've never specifically done a ketogenic diet. Um, I have been doing that for a week now, committed. I did a couple weeks ago start. I did it for 10 days on a cheat day. It never ended for 2 weeks. My cheat day never ended. So I started again, and this time I'm not doing cheat days. If I choose to do what I call a cheat day, it is still going to be very low carb. I'm not going to be binging on candy and just anything I want. So, because I don't want to get off track. I don't want to end up in a 2 week cheat day because I ignited some craving. I do not have the power and self control to do that. So that's what I'm choosing to do, and that's why I call it a lifestyle change. There's some other things I've been doing also for my health for a year. I've been working on my nervous system. I've found something that has helped me calm my nervous system down. My anxiety has been highly improved, not gone. There have been a lot of changes there. And I've also cut out any mood or mind altering substances, absolutely no alcohol, no cannabis, none of that. Um, and that's been for about 120 days or something. Also, a hopefully permanent lifestyle change that I will need God's help with. And that is also, I will also need His help for my dietary change. Because, as I said, I do not have the control. I do not have the self control. Um, Kind of segueing into the spiritual aspect of this, I do want to acknowledge that I there are people I really care about that are vegetarian, vegan, and I value your opinions. I really do. I've given this a lot of thought, and I understand the care and deep emotion behind eating an animal. I really do. I've given this a lot of thought. And this is what is working for me. This is what makes me feel the healthiest. I've never felt this good, and I've never been older than I am now. So I am up against that, and I have really considered that is what I want to say. And I feel spiritually okay. I feel spiritually not even okay. I feel like this is the right thing. And I just want to acknowledge that. Um, okay, so I want to go into the changes I've noticed over the last week since committing myself to this diet. Um, the first thing that I noticed was, I would say, so today's day 7. I would say by Tuesday, so that was 4 days in, my mental clarity was like just out of this world. It rivals taking an amphetamine. And we all know that amphetamines are not a sustainable solution, that they cause vitamin deficiencies, insomnia, and then all the things that come with lack of sleep. Um, you don't eat right, all sorts of nasty things. I've taken some supplements, that have also given me this feeling that I can only identify as the same feeling as this because now I've done keto. And what I mean by that is, when I was back in high school, I think I took like Hydroxycut or something, and I could feel fat burning. I didn't really know that that's what was happening until I started this keto diet, and looking back on these other things I've done, I realized, oh, that was really burning fat. Because that's what keto does, is you start to use fat for energy instead of glucose. So there's also, so these patches, y'all may have heard me talking a lot about these patches. There's a set of patches that are called energy enhancers, and they work by helping you burn fat. That is one of the ways that they work. And I feel amazing when I use them. When the fat burning started kicking in on keto, like I said, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, and the mental clarity and all of that started, I realized I get the same feeling as I get from those patches and those supplements by doing keto. Just energy patches, not the others. This is just one thing. I still am patched, as you can see. But anyway, back to the keto thing. So, serious mental clarity. And I will say, it was hard for me to sleep. I take a little, I have a little help at night still with sleeping. And I'm just going to continue to do that until I feel like I can go without it. But having to wake up to an alarm and go clock in, I just feel like that's what I need to do right now. But I will say, my focus is so sharp, my energy is so good that, sorry, Hallie just texted, that it is hard for me to sleep. But I do not have a crash after lunch. I don't have a crash after any meal. In fact, I feel energized after I eat now. At work, I'm sharp. Like I'm remembering things. Some other things I noticed is my anxiety is way better. I haven't had anxiety. That is something that I've dealt with since I can remember. And like in my head, maybe not like the panic, but just in my head, like ruminating about things, and a lot of these kind of things that I'm experiencing do overlap with other things that I've been doing, other work that I've been doing. But I can tell you, I noticed just this week a significant drop to 0 in my anxiety. My cycle was this week. Menstrual cycle, 0 PMS symptoms emotionally. No emotional, like, oh, where I'm so sad, where I'm so down, and it's so real. But I still have to remind myself, like, this is just temporary. This is not a real emotion. But every month it feels so real, and I'm so sad, and I'm so down. And it's happened forever. I mean, I can't remember it not happening. 0 of that. Also, another symptom it helps with in that regard is cramps. I had cramps for one day yesterday. I took 2 naproxen, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and I haven't taken one since. That is unheard of. I've never done that. I know for 100% fact, I've taken ibuprofen every single cycle for at least 2 days, usually 3. And that was cut down to 1 day and a smaller dose. Okay, I wanted to talk to you about the cravings. So I have had some cravings, and I more so wouldn't call it a craving, actually, more so just a desire and like, I miss, like, I wanted a cinnamon roll really bad earlier this week, but not like the type of craving I get if I were to eat one and then I'd want another one, and not that. Just like thinking about, and honestly, what that led into is I started thinking about all these ways I could make a keto, animal based, really is what I'm doing, by the way, animal based keto, is I've been thinking of all the ways I could simulate a cinnamon roll and get that, kind of fix. But so it's a different craving. It's definitely manageable, definitely a manageable feeling, but I have missed that kind of food. And one of the things you may have seen that I made is chocolate mousse. So I've made as a snack, using organic heavy whipping cream. You can use what you can afford, but the cleaner the better. So organic heavy whipping cream, a little bit of vanilla, and a little bit of monk fruit sweetener. And cream is so like naturally sweet, you could probably get away with not even using the monk fruit sweetener. In fact, I'm going to reduce it down. But it didn't take much to make it taste exactly like whipped cream. You cannot tell I didn't use real sugar. And so I made that, and then the second day with what was left, I mixed in cocoa. Mind you, cocoa does have quite a bit of carbs, so watch that. But I did mix it with cocoa the next day. And FYI, if you do like a little bit of cocoa, just a hint, it actually tastes like cake batter or cookie dough. You don't really taste like the chocolate flavor. So I'm going to play around with that. It was delicious. Last night I had a little bit too much, I think, and I think it kicked me out of ketosis. I was dragging a little bit this morning, and I didn't have that fat burning feeling that I've been having for almost the whole week. So I'm going to have to watch that. What I did was I didn't eat carbs all day, and I saved my 50 carbs for the evening. I didn't hit 50 carbs, but probably not wise, and I'm pretty sure, like I said, it kicked me out of ketosis. One snack that will not kick you out of ketosis, but if you're trying to do a ketogenic diet and you're needing to lose fat, you may want to watch. You may want to watch this snack. If you're maintaining your weight, not worried about losing weight, have all you want. And that is brown butter bites. And it is exactly what it sounds like. You brown butter, you freeze it, you can, crush it up into bark. You can put it in little molds. You can add a little bit of monk fruit or salt or cinnamon. You can really customize it. But the thing about brown butter bites is that when you brown butter, it becomes very naturally sweet on its own. And if all you used was butter and stuck that in the freezer, you would have a super delicious, totally carb-free, sweet keto snack. And it is so good. And I will be making more. Anyway, try it. Try it. Okay, I want to also mention about my lunch today. So my lunch today, I waited a little bit too late to eat because I was running an errand during my lunch, that it was just something I had to do, and I got back to work and ate at my desk, and it was maybe 5 carbs at the most, and I've been over like rounding up, just to make sure I don't go over my 50, because I don't want to come out of ketosis. I feel so good. I don't want to lose that feeling. So anyway, but what happened is it made me emotional. And I've connected this feeling that I sometimes get with eating to the chaos of my past. And if you know, you know. But what I can say is during those times in my life that I was in the chaos and I was doing all the things, anything and everything that I wanted, drinking, smoking, eating, whatever, not eating. During that time, not eating is actually something that I did a lot of. And when I would eat, I would get very sad because I knew it was going to slow me down, make me tired, and I may fall asleep. And I did not want to wake up. Not that I wanted to die, but I didn't want to feel how I knew I was going to feel when I woke up, which was self-pity, loathing, depression, self-hatred, just the worst feeling, just hell. And I think my brain associated that fasting and the eating like so too long, waiting too long to eat. When I'm tired and it's like, okay, I need to eat. My hands are shaking. It's time. I think I began to associate that feeling with a really sad time in my life. And so now, even though I'm not living like that, when I wait a long time to eat and I go a little too far without taking care of myself and eating, when I finally do sit down to eat, especially when it's intentional and it's healthy like I've been doing, sometimes I get really sad. And I felt that way today. I got really sad a little bit after I ate for a few seconds, but I've known about this for a couple months now, and so I just reminded myself why I was feeling that way, and I don't feel that way anymore. And the wonderful thing that I've experienced with this diet is that after I eat, I have energy. Like, it takes maybe 20-30 minutes to kick in, but I'm talking, I feel like I just fueled my body. And that is, what else is food for? And so within 30 minutes, I felt great. I was feeling really good again. My energy peaked. And the sadness, in fact, I haven't thought about it until I'm talking to you guys right now. So it didn't last very long, but that's just something I wanted to share with you guys. I don't know if that's something that a lot of others have experienced, would experience. I've talked to people about it and nobody else knows what I'm talking about. So if you can relate, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Please let me know. I want to thank you if you've lasted this long in this video. I really am grateful for everyone that is here. I'm a little intimidated and a little scared to share this with y'all because I'm so afraid that I'll quit. And I start a lot of things, and when I don't continue with them, it embarrasses me a little bit. And so I will tell you that I don't promise to be here next week. I hope that I am. I hope that I come with another weekly update next week. I really believe this is a lifestyle change and something that is sustainable for me that I'm going to keep doing. And I would love if you follow along. And I want to leave you with, if you don't take care of yourself, nobody's going to do it for you. You have power and control, and what you lack in power and control, there's one who will give it to you. So persevere. I love you.